Hey Alexa, can you tell her that we introduced Lionel after social?
Yeah, I tell her that. Did she hear you?
She can't hear me.
Shit.
Maybe when
Quelque chose pour Lionel après social, c'est bon?
we
Je vais
come
te dire,
on,
il est comme son caca, mais
maybe we'll
c'est
just
bon.
try a little Terry Fox.
Yeah, same thing, Ryan. Same thing. I have to stay here.
The photo, kind of just talk a little bit, give some props, and just give a little shout out.
Sorry, is that when you're coming out?
Everywhere, every sport's going crazy. I don't know what to expect. It's FISE.
The crowd is absolutely ecstatic to watch you ride, and the whole atmosphere is absolutely unreal. So much fun.
It's so very special because you don't see that anywhere else except for at FISE.
Welcome everybody to beautiful Edmonton, Canada. That's right, we are here for the third stop of the FISE World Series, bringing it all the way across the Atlantic to our beautiful homeland of Canada. I am Ryan Meyer, host of the FISE World Series, and I'm joined here in lovely Edmonton by Daryl Now. Daryl, man, thanks for joining us and thanks for being so representative on this day.
Well, Ryan, I got to tell you, it's a big honor not only being here at the third stop of the FISE World Series, but being in Canada, in Edmonton, on none other than official Terry Fox Day. Such a big honor. I know all of our Canadians absolutely love Terry Fox, but for those of you who don't know who this icon is, this inspirational legend, Terry actually set out running a marathon of hope from one side of Canada all the way to the other. Unfortunately, he didn't make it, but what he did do in that process is he inspired a whole nation of people, unified and brought them together. And to be here in Edmonton when the mayor just made this an official proclamation, Terry Fox Day, it's a big honor to be here, Ryan.
And uniting everyone, that is what we do as well here on the FISE World Series. Let's take a look at the FISE World Series map. We started it off in Montpellier, where it started 20 years ago. May 24th to 28th, that's where we were at the start of the year, moving for our first time ever to Budapest, Hungary. That's where we just finished off the second part of the tour, and now we are in Edmonton, Canada. We are on the third day of competition and the final day that is. We are about ready to finish off the tour at the start of November in Chengdu, China. So make sure you join us there if you have not made it to any of the other 4 stops in the world. And we will be getting ready right now to start the Flatland Pro Finals out here in Edmonton.
Yeah, I got to tell you, Ryan, the city of Edmonton is such a great host. They welcomed all of not only the professional athletes, not only the amateur athletes, but all of our fans who have traveled up into this gorgeous city. What makes Edmonton so unique is the fact that it's this urban environment tucked into all this wilderness of Canada. So you've got these beautiful landscapes looking out into the city, but you also have a really vibrant downtown.
Edmonton is an absolutely phenomenal city. You don't just have the downtown core, but as well you have Strathcona, you have very interesting parklands in between, and that's where we're situated right now in Harlech Park. It's one of the largest urban parklands in North America, and it's so amazing that the city of Edmonton has brought the FISE to us here. We know that it is a worldwide event and many viewers online are checking us out. So if you guys want to check us on social media, make sure you find us on the following handles you can see on the bottom right of your screen there. FISE.official has some amazing instant Facebook content. We do some Facebook Lives and so forth. If you want to check us out on Instagram, make sure you get us at FISE World. Tune in today and you can watch all the finals from 3 onwards. That's when we're having everything rolling. It's not just going to be about Flatland, but as well we have the UCI BMX Pro Park Finals that are going to go underway in the afternoon, and as well the mountain bike slopestyle finishing off the series here today.
Well, what you also want to do if you have your smartphone, you can make sure you download the Worm app as well. On there, you go to the App Store. We're going to have all slow-mo content throughout the course of all of our contests, and you can get involved. But right now, Ryan, we got a very special guest with us.
Yeah, it's so amazing because it's difficult for us to announce Flatland just by ourselves. And who other to bring in than Lionel Cardoso, so one of the men who has been behind the FISE since its infancy, the actual first winner of the FISE Flatland Flatland contest and has been with the FISE organization ever since for the 21 editions. He's been hosting the events in Montpellier and around the world. So amazing to have you over here.
Oh, it's really exciting, especially with what is coming up, you know, as far as the contest goes. This is the best we can get in Flatland. I'm really looking forward to what's going on, you know, what's coming up.
Yeah, we had some amazing riding happening last night with the semifinals. We had 12 riders go down, and it's just a phenomenal essence that we have going into the finals. So there's some favorites that you have going.
I'll definitely dub. You know, Jumelin right now is on fire. He's absolutely killing it, getting all his tricks together. He's been on a mission for so many years to get everything dialed, and now is the time. He's never had such a great year, and you know, I'm really looking for his run because I know he could get that title big time.
And we're going to have to see how it's going to play out for the Canadian here in his homeland. Moving forward, though, let's check out how the format is going to go.
So we've got 6 riders. They're going to be on the course. They're going to have 1 run apiece, but it's going to be 3 minutes are on the clock. And then afterwards, our 3 judges are going to be giving the score. So we break it down, 6 riders in our final, 1 run of 3 minutes on the clock. And then afterwards, the fate will be told by our 3 judges out there.
Speaking of judging a Flatland event, how different is that, Lionel, from other BMX events?
The big difference between Flatland and, let's say, Park is originality. Because creativity is a big part of Flatland, and usually, like, your top 5 will have their own runs, you know, all the tricks they're gonna do, especially like guys like Jumelin or Alex Jumelin. They're gonna do their own tricks, like no one else is doing what they're doing, and they've been doing that for a long time, you know. That's why they got such a big catalog of tricks, you know. So that's really what the judges are looking for, is originality first, and then obviously flow is a big one. Are they going to link all those crazy tricks together? And consistency, just as in the Park, you know. The cleaner the runs, the better the chances to finish in the top 3.
Speaking about fluidity and essence of uniqueness in riding style, we have a look at Matthias Dandois' first place semifinal run from yesterday.
What's crazy about this is he's mixing up Flatland and street, and that makes that original. Otherwise, you know, what Matthias has been the most good at is consistency, you know, getting his runs together, and where everybody has a hard time is always on point, you know, and that's what makes the difference, and that's why he's being a staple of all contests for so long already. You know, he's been ruling the contest series for over 10 years, and that's just a feature in itself.
We talk about Matthias Dandois, but as well a man who I feel has kind of been his mentor coming out in the Paris scene. Alex Jumelin, an old competitor of yours as well, one of the only riders, actually the only rider in FISE history to compete in every single one of the 21 editions of FISE. How do you think that helped to play with the contest ability of Matthias Dandois coming in Flatland?
It's definitely helped big time, since Alex had so much experience contest-wise already when Matthias got into the scene, and it definitely got him a big push from the very beginning, even though there's no secret, you know, only work pays, you know. And Matthias, he worked really hard to get where he's at right now, and even though Alex really helped him a notch, you know, there's nothing without work.
Exactly, and all these top riders out here have been putting in work. That is definitely right. One of the youngest Flatland competitors we see out here. Let's toss it down to our live MC and get a little rider introduction for who's going to be in the finals for Flatland in Edmonton.
Is Rafael Chiquet, one of the best looking guys on the stage. Rafael, you're going to want to watch what he can do on the back wheel. So stylish, so difficult. All right, next rider, 4th place qualifier. It coming out of Japan, my good friend, doing it for Monster Energy. Put your hands together, North America, for Moto Sasaki. Man, the level of riding of those guys is insane. Now, 3rd place qualifier. If you're a fan of FISE, you know and love this guy coming from Montpellier, France. This is Alex Jumelin. Put your hands together for Alex. third place qualifier this weekend. Incredible style on the front wheel. And man, I know he loves this crowd. Second place qualifier who came in first in Montpellier, first in Budapest, from Montreal, Canada. This is Jean-William Prevost. Doing it for Iggy BMX, Far East Cycles. And our first place qualifier, you know this guy, doing it for Red Bull, Vans, Haro, BMX. He may act like he's joking around, but this guy's all serious when that clock starts. This is Matthias Dandois. Okay. All right, we're gonna let these guys have a 1-minute warm-up on the stage, and then we're gonna get started with our 6th place qualifier, Benjamin. Hang tight while these guys just get loose on the bike again. It's so difficult to stay at this level and be ready to go when their 3 minutes starts. So we're gonna let them do some wheelies.
Killer night last night with the boys, cruising around Edmonton. And we're doing a good time. So, also, if you want to know your placings from yesterday, everything's posted right over here at the gate behind these speakers. If you want to know, everything's posted. Got all the results, photos.
We're going to start our rider list off there with Benjamin Hudson moving fourth to Rafael Chiquet, with a Japanese rider in third to drop, Moto Sasaki, fourth place. The legend himself, 40 years young, Alex Jumelin from Paris, fifth. Jean-William Prevost, our leader so far in the series. And in sixth, last to drop, our first place semi-finalist and FISE defending Flatland champion from 2016, Matthias Dandois.
Wow, so those are our gladiators going into our final. Again, we had a qualifier, a semi, and those are the 6 athletes that are getting ready to battle it out here in Heritage Amphitheater. Now, just to kind of paint the scene a little bit, we have this gorgeous amphitheater set in Harlech Park in Canada, but the energy and appreciation for our riders in our qualifier and semi has been electric. The support here, and we're taking a look at the crowd as they're starting to funnel into the amphitheater and really get behind the riders. I want to ask you, Lionel, as a rider yourself and a competitor, how important is the crowd's energy play into a rider on the course?
Crowd is really electric and definitely pushing the vibe and giving some good energy to the riders. But if you're not having a good day, it can play, not in your favor. Definitely get you down, and trying to focus sometimes it takes just a little bit to get out of that focus and out of that zone.
So what you're saying is maybe also having some experience, someone like Alex Jumelin might actually play in his favor in front of a crowd, as opposed to our younger rider, Benjamin Hudson, who's going to be our first to take the course.
Definitely. Experience plays a big role in success, obviously. And but the young gun still has a lot, and he's so dialed that sometimes, when he's in that zone, it just don't matter what's happening out there,
So let's talk format. You can see the timer. It says 3 minutes. The clock has just started right now for Benjamin Hudson.
Yep.
And basically, he's going to have... The clock is going to tick, and how does that work for a rider? They can utilize it in which capacity?
The thing is, they're either really dialed and know what they're going to go down to, down a sort of a mental list of their tricks, or they kind of freestyle in it and, trying to get as much as possible going and using that time to the best of their abilities.
So the judges don't know what the riders are going to do out here. It's their option to get as creative as they want while they're running. They could play the field. If they mess up, they could change their game plan, or hopefully they have a game plan and they stick to it, is what you're ultimately saying.
Exactly. So the surprise factor is also big for the judges. If the same as in park, if one of the riders drops like a world's first, that's gonna point higher for sure and get extra points for the judges.
So you talked about the idea of originality, and that some riders are so advanced in their riding that no one else could do. Yes,
yeah.
No one else could do their tricks because they've progressed and they're masters of their craft. But let's say if a rider does the same trick as they did last year, even though no one else is doing that, will that maybe not be scored as high, or how would that work in a judge's eyes?
It's really down to difficulty. You know, if a trick is hard no matter what. You know, even if you already pulled it 5 years ago, it remains hard, especially if nobody else is doing it yet, you know. So,
but will they be rewarded if it's like a
yeah.
world's first? Would the score then maybe be a little bit higher, or if they've never seen that rider do that trick?
Yeah, if they bring something new to the table, that definitely makes a difference for sure.
So look at this on the front wheel right there, wrapping around. You see him taking his one arm off, able to keep that balance point.
It's just pumping it, you know, using that momentum and pushing the bike towards the ground to get more speed. And look at that, a huge whip out. That's just incredible run so far.
Now, Ryan, you always bring up Benjamin Hudson's bike and how it's super unique as far as his setup is concerned.
Yeah, and especially that way that he grabs the rear wheel instead of grabbing the seat. That was his kind of yes.
Look at that,
wow.
incredible.
And he has this very unique way of stomping a combination back onto the pedals.
Yep, definitely.
I was speaking to him in the bus, actually, coming back, the shuttle bus going to the hotel, coming back after the event last night, and he was saying, I did some really good tricks, I thought, but I'm still sitting in 6th place. I have to totally step it up for tomorrow. So
yeah,
it
big
really
time.
looks like he's been thinking about that in the evening.
I think that's a testament to how good our riding is out here, right, in our semifinal. And Hudson right now, taking his one and only run, as 15 seconds are counting down, looking to get his final thoughts out in our crowd here in Edmonton.
Look at that, he's been pulling all of his links, just a crazy clean run for him, making everything diverse too, and that's what the judges want, you know, no repetition in the tricks and in the lengths. Look at, he's going for the big one right there, missing it by a hair. Incredible.
Now, Lionel, how does that work as far as the clock is concerned? 3 minutes are on. I know in the park, if a rider's approaching a quarter pipe and the buzzer goes off, that will count if they're already approaching the obstacle when the clock goes off. But how does it work when they have a longer combination run and the clock is counting down?
Usually the judges, they have that little 5 seconds window that they're gonna give it to the rider to finish his combo. That's not like an official thing, but to them, you know, they still have those extra seconds just to make sure the guy's, you know, not in the middle of something.
Okay.
But if he's gonna keep going for another minute, obviously he's not gonna be taken into account, you know.
So essentially, it's a little subjective to the judges, but at the same time, they obviously see if it's a link or combo kind of ending, they won't take away.
Exactly, and they got 3 minutes. They got plenty of time to show the tricks, you know, so.
Well, and scores are in, 87 for Benjamin Hudson, putting him high up there. But I'm wondering if it's going to be enough to stay with the top 6 as we move down yesterday's semifinals. Those scores were getting in the 90s. However, that was a flawless run, in my opinion, from Benjamin Hudson. Let's see what Rafael Chiquet brings to the table next. This rider as well has his very own unique style, hailing from France as well. He is known as dubbing his style right now as a very back wheel influenced rider.
I think as our tour has progressed, Rafael has definitely won over a lot of fans, not only at this riding, but we saw out in Budapest when the contest was over, he turned the stage, the riding platform, into a dance floor, and definitely brought up a lot of the fans, and he's definitely a crowd favorite. He has that energy that not only in his personal style, but that definitely conveys to his riding. Definitely,
he's here to have a blast. You know, he's already had like a great flatland career, if you can say so. And right now he's just having fun with flatland. You know, he hasn't quit, but he kind of slowed down for a bit, for a couple years. The last couple of years he was really involved in, you know, working for an energy drink company. But now he's back into the game, and he's really eager to, you know, just enjoy it to the maximum. And you can really tell he's having a blast on the course. Yes.
Yeah. Well, Ryan, like you're saying, he's definitely wrapping that up in the decade right there. You can see he's been back wheel heavy, as you predicted, which is cool. A rider has their opportunity to do any tricks. It's definitely freestyle, it's flatland, and they can select any style on their bike, whether it be front wheel, back wheel, but we're seeing Rafael right now stick to that back end.
Oh yeah, but still he has his own, you know, he brings his own flavor to it, like definitely having his own little tricks. what's so good about Rafael is like that consistency, always bringing those tricks to the table. It makes it look so easy. You know, he's got so much style into it, and that's also what the judges are looking at. You know, style is a big part of flatland, together with creativity, and you know, Rafael definitely has both.
Well, now you mentioned style. We've seen an evolution of flatland where when it first started in the 80s, it was more about maybe pogoing in one spot or doing one specific trick. In the 90s, it then went into scuffing. But right now, in the 2000s, it's all about motion. And you keep bringing up that word motion and movement. Can you explain that a little bit to our viewers?
Definitely. You know, the flatland definitely changed with someone like Kevin Jones bringing like rolling tricks to the table. Tricks were not static anymore. You weren't staying in one place. You were moving, you know, and doing those tricks rolling just like that without touching the tire, just having that motion. And what really happened in the 2000s is that there started to be flow, and you see how those guys really pumping to get speed and to keep that momentum going. And they're not only rolling in a position, they're actually spinning and giving movement to that trick, you know. And that's what really is the difference between now and the years past.
So let's see, Rafael on that back peg. Oh!
Having a bit of a hard time for the last two combos, but still getting it together.
Let's see.
It's always hard to, you know, get towards the end of the runs. So
yeah, you get winded, but let's see if he can put it together for the final 10 seconds.
Oh, that's the original move he's been working on lately.
He just wants to get it 5 seconds and see if he can get this last combination trick in the bag before the buzzer.
That's gonna be time. Shame. That's a huge one. He still want to do it for the crowd.
Yeah, I hope he does it for us. I mean, this is such a unique combination. He's on that back wheel. You can see he's taking his arms off and using that handlebar almost tucked into his hip, trying to keep the front end up.
Exactly. Incredible. All the while spinning. You know, it's just insane.
Wow. So
it's good to see some of the park riders at the, you know, at the contest watching flatland.
yeah, it's so
some
special,
love.
the community we have here at FISE. I mean, especially as we're taking a look at his run, like you said, you could see the crowd support. It's a lot of fellow riders out there, not just flatlanders, not just fans, but there's also some of our park riders who are cheering on. And there's a look at that decade that's putting that foot on the top tube, wrapping all the way around. Doesn't have any brakes on his bike, so you don't have a stopped pivot point, and you got to do it almost while that back wheel rolls.
So much control right there in style. Getting his bike around his back into that crazy caboose position.
And there was some of that motion you were talking about with that fancy footwork. You see him just switching right to left foot on the pegs and then doing that motion building, speed pumping.
Is it more difficult to carry the motion to get that kind of rotation going? Yes, and an 82.0 for Rafael Chiquet is going to put him into second place. But let me finish my thought there. Is it more difficult to be on the back wheel to get that motion instead of being on the front wheel where you're able to scuff, for instance?
Actually, the back wheel is a bit easier since it's fixed, you know. Yeah. It's all fixed to the frame. While the front wheel, you got, you know, that the bars, fork combo, it's actually a moving piece, you know. And it's a bit harder to keep everything going that way. But it's all down to the tricks you do, you know, no matter which wheel you're on. But it's definitely a bit easier. And now coming up is the Japanese rider. This one is more of a front wheel specialist, we could say.
So we're going to see a completely different style, potentially, right? Because a rider doesn't have to be limited to their own style. They don't necessarily have to define themselves. But in the final, they're going to want to dig into their specialty.
Look at this.
Yes.
Signature trick right there.
Wow,
from Moto.
total. Just endo, putting that front end down.
Look at that. It's incredible backward spinning into a forward spinning cliffhanger right there. Pulling it clean.
I think clean is definitely the statement that should be highlighted and underlined right there, because you didn't see any wobble. You just saw a perfect pivot point and just had that rotation going around.
Exactly. There's no place for hesitation. Everything's got to be, you know, on point, otherwise you just fall, you know.
So when a rider does fall like that, the judges will wind up obviously deducting. They want to see it. The higher your score would be, the less you touch down.
Exactly. That, and you know, he's back at it and pulling it, so it's kind of know what it's just done before crashing.
But this trick with the cross hand, the left hand onto the right handlebar in the hang 5,
just so
and
not
switch
natural.
over to the cross foot, it's just missing it at the end.
That's a shame. Really hard combo right there. So original as well. Each and every trick in that combo are just crazy. Now going cross-footed and just, yeah, cruising back and forth. So much style again, you know.
So the way he was dipping his front end down, you saw in the rotation, that was a choice that he was doing to give it his own signature spin, where maybe another rider might try and they wouldn't necessarily be able to get that nosedive. So it's almost like a Moto Sasaki original style in a way, right? That's almost what defines his riding.
Actually, the Japanese riders in the beginning of the 2000s, they started doing these tricks where you pump back and forth to get your motion, and that's really down to those Japanese riders back then that brought this. Oh, look at this, incredible!
Wow, that was phenomenal. Oh no, Moto just having very difficult luck pulling the combinations all the way through.
Yeah, that's a big one for the judges, definitely.
It's such a mental fatigue to know that you're on the clock for 3 minutes and you just have to get it back together.
Definitely, you know, that can bring you down big time. And what he's doing right there is just incredible. He's going back at it. He wants it, and he's going to pull it. Look at this, nice and clean so far. But he's not done. That's what is crazy. So he's been going for 30 seconds, you know.
And now this is the rolling that you're talking about. He's getting that momentum by pumping.
Exactly, back and forth.
Oh,
actually
yes,
accelerating 30 seconds into his link.
And this time it's the right one. Look at this, finishing with the bang, spinning those bars. Incredible.
Wow, Edmonton erupting in our amphitheater, showing the love for the Japanese rider, Moto Sasaki.
Oh yeah, you can feel the vibe. It's electric in there. Everybody is like sitting tight. Look at this, cross-footed.
Having a little difficulty on that cross-footed, but that was an enormous run for the Japanese rider. Getting the love out here in Edmonton.
That's going to be a tough one for the judges because he dropped some hard tricks, but still had a hard time putting it together in the links, you know, like finishing clean. As you said, you know, Ryan, he's had some really difficult moves, but still couldn't put it together in most of his links, and that's going to make the difference.
That second to last combination that he cleaned, however, was phenomenal. And tricks like this with the no-handed cliffhanger.
So what you're saying is an overall impression of the 3 minutes out there.
Exactly.
So regardless, even though he smashed some crazy combos, like
at
the foot
end.
on the handlebar right there,
Look
and
at
then accelerated afterwards, pumping on the front wheel. In the first maybe minute and a half, he'd had some serious touchdowns. He actually fell off the bike. So it's that overall impression that we're going to wind up seeing. Will it be enough to wind up bumping out of that top spot, Benjamin Hudson? So the score to beat is going to be an 87. Benjamin Hudson is holding in that top spot. But we're going to see if Moto Sasaki is able to move into that top. And look at that, an 80 coming in. It is not enough to do it. So Moto Sasaki is going to be in that third spot. Benjamin Hudson's going to hold on strong in the first. Rafael Chiquet in 2. But we still have 3 riders yet to go. And these were our top 3 qualifiers from our semifinal.
The next rider up needs no introduction for the FISE, but you might not know him out here in Canada. One of the longest competing athletes in FISE history, the only athlete who has competed in all 21 editions of the FISE. This is none other than Flatland legend Alex Jumelin. Alex getting ready for his 3 minutes to go. Just had his recent 40th birthday, and like we have been mentioning yesterday in the semifinals, he finds his own style, recreates his, let's say, dance moves on the BMX every couple of years, and recently seems to be doing better than ever in contests.
Oh yeah, man, it's just incredible what he's been doing with his riding, just putting it on the fresh slate every couple of years, as you said. And none of the other riders on the circuit have been doing this, taking so many risks to reinvent his own riding is just incredible, you know. especially when you're already doing good like he does.
Yes.
And now he keeps pushing it. It's just insane. Wow. He saw like Alex moves right there, and that's just why the judges have been loving him lately. You know, it's just all of his own tricks and incredibly hard links is just crazy what he's been doing. Look at that, nice and clean. Shorter links compared to the Japanese,
Yes.
but trying to keep it safe at the same time and hard. Definitely a different way of riding.
So cross-footed on that front wheel. You see having a little difficulty right there. But again, Jumelin's got that experience.
Oh yeah, and
Like
the
you
big-
mentioned, you actually competed against Alex in our first feast 21 years ago.
Yeah,
And the fact that Alex is still going, and you were saying better than ever, some might say.
exactly.
It's just a testament to his
Totally.
focus. So hopefully, even though having those touchdowns, he'll be able to get that laser focus for the next minute and 50 seconds.
Yeah, look at that war face. You know, he's got it on. He's
Ooh.
got that fire. Another signature trick right there, going back and forth on the nose wheelie. So much bike control that only he can get with all that experience he's got. And that's just so good to see him ride. He's still having a bit of a hard time today, it seems, getting his flow and focus together.
Well, we also want to note that there's a lot of wind out here today, and that could definitely be a factor for our riders. I know we're in the amphitheater, but you do see that it's open air on the sides, and that could be a factor, especially when you're trying to balance on your tires for precision. Jumelin currently sitting in 4th for our overall points after our first stop in Montpellier and also in Budapest.
Oh yeah, it's been consistent. That's the thing. Like over the years, it's been a staple, finishing consistently in the top 10 and now top 5 for the past couple of years, each and every contest, which is just awesome.
With the 5 and a 3rd place finish, 2 stops in, he's definitely looking to up the ante.
Yeah.
Yeah, front wheel
Look
right
at that.
there. Half bar spin, bars backwards. The geometry of the bike changes.
Exactly.
And when that happens, your whole balance point is completely different, making the head tube a lot steeper, so you have to adjust your weight to compensate.
You know, we mentioned yesterday that Alex is as well a spin instructor, teaching about 6 spin classes a week, and you can see the fatigue that he has. This goes to show how much physical endurance it takes to be an athlete out here.
Definitely, you know, you can tell he's not as tired as the other guys, even though 3 minutes is a long time. And he has, once again, he has that experience of contests. You know, he knows how to manage his energy, his breath, and you can tell. But now he's having a bit of a hard time today. He seems a bit tired. And unfortunately, it's already down to the 3 minutes. We'll see how what the judges think.
So Jumelin, our 4th rider, just took his 3 minutes out on the course. It looks like he might put something on for the fans right here.
Oh yeah, he's loving the public.
Just want to give a huge shout out actually to the city of Edmonton, not only for Edmonton welcoming us here, but as well for the crowd coming down to all the events. If you have not made it down here to Harlech Park, please do. It is a sight to see, and the FISE would love to have you.
So Jumelin right there smashing it right to pedals. Again, that was for the fans. It's not going to count as far as his score goes on the clock. But you definitely could see him wrapping it around. We got a shot right there of Claude Hickman. That is our in-field MC. But right now we're taking a look at some slow-mos. This is a perfect time to also mention one of our sponsors, Worm. Very cool. You could download their app on your phone. Go to the App Store, Android, iOS. You could basically look at all unique content that we have from FISE. You can get interactive and upload your own content. We have all other pro riders who are always breaking down the logistics in super slow-mo. It's a very cool thing to do where you could take your own footage and put it up there. But right now we're looking at Jumelin going on that front tire, wrapping around. There's that scuff. You see the fancy footwork on either side, and that's to change his pivot direction and keep his momentum rolling. So let's see as his score is coming in, is it going to be enough? Benjamin Hudson is still sitting in that top spot with an 87. We have Rafael Chiquet with an 82 and a Moto Sasaki in there with 81. So let's see, is it going to be enough to shake up the pack?
And no, it's not. It's going to be an 81. Good enough for third place right now. Alex Jumelin will have to sit it out for the next two riders and see if he can hold that podium position.
Wow, so right there you see the score coming in. Benjamin Hudson, our first rider, still holding strong. He is going to be biting his nails, though, as we have our current points leader, Jean-William Prevost, who has yet to take his run in the final, but he has a first place in Montpellier and also a first place in our second stop in Budapest, looking to add another #1 onto the mantelpiece at his home. Let's see.
Oh yeah, look at that. You can tell he's so focused. He's
in the
on
zone.
Top form. Oh yeah, in the zone, in the flow, ready to throw it down.
The Canadian rider, he started Flatland 14 years ago, and the crowd out here in Edmonton knows that he is the one Canadian in the finalist out here, has the opportunity to take over the title.
Definitely, and that is why, look at this. He's got so much speed, he knows all of his tricks by heart, and he goes down that list and just ticking those, check boxes one by one. And each of these tricks right there, look at that. That position is just impossible to hold, but he's doing it just one-handed. Undertaker.
Wow. There is that maneuver where he's able to hold on to the grip and literally contort his bike and body to get the clearance of that front wheel around his belly and his stomach to land clean. Oh, and doing it in a spin right there.
Incredible. That's
wow.
Signature right there. Like, Jean-William has been killing it as far as creativity lately.
Yeah, right now he's in that zone, and all his other peers definitely know that. He just won from Ride BMX Magazine the Nora Cup Award. That's the #1 rider award. He was awarded that down at the Voodoo Jam in New Orleans, and right now he's in that zone. You see the handlebars going around. Yep. Big shout out to all of our New Orleans Flatlanders. I know Scott O'Brien right now is cheering on, screaming at the screen, getting behind Jean-William.
It's not done. That's what is crazy. It's been going on for over 20 seconds. And just switching over and over. Just crazy. Look at the vibe in the amphitheater. It's just insane. You can feel the fire.
So he's about to come to that halfway mark, and he's been solid for the first minute and a half, but it's going to come down to this. Can he keep this perfection going and the consistency? As you said, it's an overall for the entire 3 minutes.
Exactly, and that's, especially after what he has pulled, that's going to be a feature in itself if he goes all the way without touching anymore. But he's got loads more tricks. Look at that.
Look how he contorted his body. He contorts completely around the frame in order to put the foot on the other peg while having that rotation going on.
Oh, why rolling too, just having that frame wrap around his body, as you said.
Final 50 seconds, here we go. Wow, he's able to put both feet on the pegs, the head tube right between his legs. Let's see, he's building speed, rolling right there. Yep. Bike is traveling backwards.
Yeah, going in a forward death truck. And usually he steps on the pedals, but on that one, he just want to save it. He knows he has a good day. He's still at 30 seconds on the clock, and he knows.
So you're talking a little strategy right there for him.
Oh,
he
yeah.
might have played it, I don't even want to say safe, but he knows he has 20 seconds. Let's keep the consistency going. Can he put it together for the final thoughts?
Exactly, and that's what's going to make the difference for the judges, Look at that.
Oh, and he's able to get the momentum that you were talking about to build up his balance point.
He's getting some speed, That's what is crazy about this, is he was slowly almost stopped.
Look at that, no hands, balancing with the seat. Wow, that is time, but right now he's got something else. Jean-William Prevost digging in.
Look at this.
Doing this one for the crowd out here in Canada.
What?
Jean-William Prevost.
Oh yeah, on the mission.
The whirling dervish out there. And the tornado.
As we are going to wait and see how the judges score these ones, we are going to let Lionel go, actually. Thank you very much, Lionel, for joining us throughout this finals. He's going to go down and do the on-site awards. So we have to shuttle him down there.
Wow, what a pleasure.
So far, it's just going to be myself and Daryl taking over for our last rider coming up.
How great is that, having Lionel up here in the booth? What an OG of BMX Flatland. I remember getting started riding BMX myself, seeing in all the old school props video magazines. Lionel just tearing things up, and the fact that he's up here calling our runs in FISE in Edmonton, it's such an honor. But right now, look at that back wheel, the balance point. Again, the thing that's so unique is the way he contorts his body. You see the style with his foot just really hitting that silhouette. So we're going to see if scores come in. The score to beat is going to be an 87. Will it be enough? And we have a new leader, an 89, jumping into that top spot. Wow, so we see Prevost bumping out Benjamin Hudson, Rafael Chiquet, Alex Jumelin, and Moto Sasaki. But we still have one rider yet to go. This is our #1 qualifier. So technically, if any rider can do it, it's going to be the Frenchman of Matthias Dandois. He is looking for a score 89 or higher. Obviously, in the 90s and up is what he's striving for. And you can see the Frenchman really starting to get in that zone. He's always got a good big smile on his face, but you see him just getting that focus. He knows what he's got to do, and the name of the game is going to be perfection.
So 3 minutes on the clock. That is right, our defending 2016 FISE World Series Flatland BMX champion, Matthias Dandois, about to get things going here for the finals. Our last rider today, can he beat that 89 of Jean-William Prevost?
Here we go, 3 minutes start now. Starting it off with a big half cab out, excuse me, a 180 to a full cab.
That is that street influence style that we often talk about from Matthias.
So Matthias rocking a Haro Master. This is an OG reissue. He's actually rides for Haro bikes. He's got his own signature frame, the Bastille, but he loved these reissues. He said, you know what, I'm gonna put one together, pay some homage. It's not my traditional geometry I ride, but you couldn't tell at all. He looks so comfortable right there, striking that pose.
Speaking about geometry, imagine that this is such a sport where your bike is exactly supposed to be one with you, and changing that up just for a contest. I mean, just a week ago we were out in Budapest and he had his normal Haro bike, and switching over to this must be incredible. There's another unique trick from Matthias Dandois that we have not seen until this edition of the FISE.
Yeah, the fact that he was on the pedals and you saw he hopped onto his peg and then going into this link combo right here where he's just changing his rotational direction. So already about 20-25 seconds in. There's that balance point, holding onto his front pegs like a set of handlebars. His bike is completely upside down. You see him leaning it over. Look again just at his body, the symmetry. Looks so nice. This is what Matthias was known for when he exploded onto the scene about 10 years ago. Again, he was a pupil of Alex Jumelin. And Matthias throwing the handlebars not once but twice. He is almost over a minute on this combination, going up on the pedals and putting his foot over the head tube. He's getting that rotation going down. Look at this. Edmonton is going nuts, and Matthias smashing that combo clean. Talk about a workout. Matthias with over a minute of perfection out there as he's rounding the clock, 60 seconds.
Ooh, he is fatigued. You can see that. That one took a bit out of him.
He's going to have to dig deep because he's looking for a score greater than an 89. But again, if anyone can do it, is our top qualifier and your defending champion from 2016, Matthias Dandois.
Wow.
You can hear the crowd erupting, a fan favorite wherever he goes. Matthias travels the world, spreading the gospel of BMX Flatland, doing demos for everyone and everyone. But right now you see him on that front wheel, leaning the bike completely over as the clock is winding down. Hat flying off, momentum is just picking up.
And going into the no hands, that signature spin from Matthias.
This is a huge moment that matters for Matthias. If he could stop this clean, this could be the make or break moments for Matthias as the clock is winding down, and bam, Matthias pulling it off. The crowd going nuts here in Edmonton as the Frenchman Matthias Dandois throws down a near flawless run. You can see how excited he is. You can also see that camaraderie right there, because that is Jean-William Prevost, who currently has the top score of an 89, but the fate is going to be in the hands of the judges at this current moment, as Matthias going out just getting the round of applause from all of our fans in the house.
Let's take some highlight looks at what just went down for Matthias's run. Your last competitor out here in the finals of the BMX Flatland. Just some absolutely phenomenal bike control.
So you can see Matthias right there in that spot, just getting that beautiful silhouette. It's, even though he's rotating, it almost looks like he could pause time. Looks like that trophy, and look how fast, the degree that his hat is flying off, but leaning the bike over with no arms and just keeping that rotation going. Matthias in here. We're waiting for scores to come in from the judges. And look at that, a 92! Wow, he does the impossible, moves to the top of the board. Matthias is so excited. The 92 coming in. That means Jean-William Prevost is going to be bumped back. And Matthias Dandois is in that top spot as the crowd in Edmonton is just going nuts, showing the love for the Frenchman. Wow, Matthias Dandois doing the impossible here at our third stop in Edmonton.
Absolutely amazing riding from the young Frenchman. The Parisian just blows us away time and time again. Absolutely amazing to see him come out here after pressure. Such a phenomenal run done from the Canadian Jean-William Prevost. And then Matthias comes back and answers with nearly a flawless run, getting that outstanding 92 score in front of the judges here in Canada.
Wow, talk about the pressure being on. As results are coming in, Matthias Dandois on the top of the board right there, the only rider not only to crack into the 90s, but to just push in with a 92.
Jean-William Prevost there in second place with that 89 even. Benjamin Hudson, the young gun, with the 87, stepping up all the way from 6th place in that semifinals from yesterday. Rafael Chiquet rounding it up in the 4th. Alexander Jumelin in 5th place. And Moto Sasaki, the Japanese rider, rounding up the top 6 and your finalists out here today in Edmonton.
What an exciting final. The fact that we have all of our riders out here. You see the Canadians celebrating, flag wrapped around, caped around. What a beautiful moment right here. Brothers in arms, riders in arms, showing the love for Canada as we witness one of the most exciting flatland finals to date here in Edmonton.
Beautiful representation of how BMX athletes have phenomenal camaraderie and just such an overall amazing competition vibe. That's what it's all about here at the FISE, and that's what we like to do in the FISE World Series. As you see, things are going off down there in the theater. Last thoughts on the event here?
The energy for BMX Flatland, that was one of the best contests we've seen thus far at FISE. The fact that in 2017, the riders are pushing themselves, the riding is going in that direction. But I got to give a lot of love to Matthias Dandois. That's my boy, and that was our rider who came out on top today.
So a huge round of applause for all the athletes coming out here all the way to Canada to make this happen. Let's go down to Lionel, our other co-host who's been helping us out through the last days. Let's see how the podium looks.
I want to just say thank you again to our sponsors, Yellow Cab, the City of Edmonton, Honor Mobile, Red Bull, that made this incredible event happen. We're so thankful for them. Also want to thank the volunteers that served around this park to help you guys have a great experience with your family this week. We're about to put our 3 top guys on the podium. All right, we're ready to go. 3rd place, coming from Chile, doing it for Red Bull. Let's put our hands together for one of my favorite guys, doing it for Iggy BMX. This is Benjamin Hudson, coming in 3rd place, BMX Pro Flatland. So happy for that dude right there. I don't have the other tape. All right, second place goes to you know who it is, coming out of Montreal, Canada. Let's put our hands together again. Jean-William Prevost. So happy for him. This crowd was so great to get behind him. Coming in second place, an excellent, excellent run. But third stop of the FISE World Circuit, first place goes to Matthias Dandois out of Paris, France, doing it for Red Bull Vans Haro. These are your BMX Pro Flatland winners. Let's get him on that podium in Edmonton. Give me one more hand for your BMX Pro Flatland finalists, Benjamin Hudson, Jean-William Prevost, and Matthias Dandois. Thank you guys so much for coming and showing your support for BMX Flat. These guys love this audience so much. Third stop of the FISE World Circuit. All right, don't go away. I got one more thing to announce. Jean-William, come back. I've just been told that you are the winner of the FISE World Circuit overall, which means you will get a trip to the 2018 each stop of the FISE series. Putting down solid run in Montpellier, a win in Budapest, and second place here. You already are named the champion for the FISE series. Give it up one more time for Jean-William Prevost.
An amazing awards down there, and I don't know if you guys could hear the background noise from our online commentators, but let's take a look at the overall rankings from the FISE World Series Flatland Pro Contest. Jean-William Prevost, the Canadian, is going to take it away. With one stop to go, he has already solidified the top honors, the 29,000 there.
And we got Matthias Dandois in second with 26,200. Followed by Benjamin Hudson. So you can see how important this third stop was. Those are your top three riders, but Alex Jumelin, Rafael Chiquet, and Moto Sasaki. So we've got our top six, our current top six leaders. They were all of our finalists out here in Edmonton. So you can see just how crucial the points are, even though that we're on a global level, global scale, doing 4 stops around the world, just how valuable these points were in the finals.
So an amazing finals that went down out here, but we still have more action to come in day number 3. But as well, get ready for the last stop of the FISE World Series, Chengdu, China.
The level of riding was so crazy throughout this entire series, but it did not slow down and did not do anything short of deliver one spectacular final.